Alright guys, so I was just watching this video from Brain Squeeze Reactions. Okay. Now look, I wasn't planning on making any more videos tonight, but when I heard, you know, the type of comments this guy's been dealing with over his Tupac reactions, okay, I had to speak on it. And I love this guy's energy too.
Welcome to Brain Squeeze Reaction to myself, Mark Hector. What are we reacting to now? Tupac. I know, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Like, has he lost the fucking plot? What the fuck is going on? Why is Hector doing this? Okay, so let me tell you what the fuck has gone on. Now, to be very, very clear, if you're new to the channel, you can just skip on and just jump straight to the reaction. That's all good. Brainiacs, listen up, listen up, listen up. I need to rant, but it turns into a positive. I need to rant, but it turns into a positive. And this is amazing, but it's equally full of fucking shit as well. Let me tell you what happened. So, I did a reaction to I Ain't Mad At Cha. Do you remember the I Ain't Mad At Cha that I said on the live and we were talking about it and so on and so forth? That is what I did a reaction to. And the comments came in, they were lovely. People were teaching me stuff about it. And then you told me that there's a music video, which I didn't know about.
And that right there, I think, is one of the most important takeaways, right? He's actually listening to people, he's talking to people, he's learning more about the culture, he's learning more about Tupac and what his messages was. And I think it's a great thing, right?
So that was amazing as well. So that was cool. So I was doing that. Next thing you know, I get a torrent of abuse. An absolute torrent of abuse. With someone writing a comment, and I quote, with the term, gotcha. Yeah. Saying that I'm exploiting Tupac for my own personal gain. That I'm exploiting. And he said, gotcha. And I was thinking, okay, here we fucking go. This is going to be fun. And let me tell you the reasons why he says, or I'm assuming why he says, gotcha. Because what he actually wrote is, and this is no joke, that you're acting like you don't know who Tupac is. Wrong. Okay, I do know who Tupac is, and I've said that Tupac a lot, so you're wrong there. Just to be very clear, I'm 36 years old, I'm not 12, so I know who Tupac is, and just so you know, I've said that I've listened to his albums, the Still I Rise album, and a couple from Until the End of Time, and if you want to be a dick about it, I was talking about Tupac before I even started this Tupac reaction. I even mentioned this track on the Super Bowl, which is, I think, one of my biggest viewed videos. So, yeah, dickhead, I've been talking about Tupac since the beginning. But, you know, please, you carry on. I'll carry on 8 miling you during this fucking discussion. Next thing that you said was about, and you act like you don't know the culture, but yet you know who Eazy-E and Ice Cube is. Those were his words. Those were his or her words. You act like you don't know the culture.
So look, you know, every single culture, heritage, all that stuff is very complex, and there's a lot to learn. Like, I don't think anyone should ever get to the point to where they say, okay, I know everything there is to know about this particular subject. Just because he's still wanting to learn more doesn't mean he doesn't know anything.
And that you don't know the music, but yet you know who Eazy-E and Ice Cube is. Even if I was listening to fucking country music in the middle of a fucking desert, I think I would know who Ice Cube is. And I've watched Straight Outta Compton. I know the history of NWA.
Alright guys, so I want to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, just for a moment. Now, when he did his reaction to Thug Love, he had mentioned in there he didn't really know too much about Bone Thugs and Harmony. And now he said that he has watched Straight Outta Compton. Okay, and I wonder if, you know, maybe he didn't realize then, or maybe he's realized now, the connections between Bone Thugs and Harmony and NWA, but more specifically, Eazy-E. What information he might be interested in knowing and finding out, if he doesn't already know, he probably does. Okay, because man, I tell you what, I had left a few comments on this guy's videos. Okay, and I said, and I stand behind this 100%. This is one of the most well-informed reactors I've seen in a long time. Okay, so he probably already knows this, but you never know, right? Like Bill Burr said, there's, too much information, and each group of people misses a little bit. So you have to be friends with everybody. And I stand behind that 100% as well. Okay. So in the movie, when Eazy-E is in the hospital, it shows Bone Thugs and Harmony actually coming in to give him, one of their albums that just been released. I think it was 1999. And what's interesting about that is that Crossroads got a remix. A lot of people don't even know that the Crossroads they've always listened to is actually a remix of the original. And they, for some reason, changed the original title of Crossroads to Crossroads Original, right? And then just Crossroads, that became the remix. And they did that because of Eazy-E. Because after he died, that's when, they remixed the song and then made it about Eazy-E. Okay. And also, there was two different versions of 1999. Okay. There was one version before he died, before Eazy-E died. Then there was another version with the remix. Okay, and if you look closely at the building, you can see Eazy-E's face, staring down at them from the building that's, up above them, right? That sort of goes in line with Crossroads, right? So he's waiting up there, looking down at them, kind of watching over them, right? So yeah, there's a lot of ties between NWA, Eazy-E, and then Bone Thugs and Harmony. So I'm sure if I got any, hip hop heads in here, they're going to know all this stuff, but maybe there's a few who may not have known all that stuff.
Wait, you're not getting it through your thick head. Nobody's saying that I haven't listened to these songs. Fuck me. There's a difference to hearing and listening. And if exploiting Tupac means over 70 plus videos, interviews I've dissected, discussions with communities, lives, helping people, engaging with people telling me they're watching the videos and it feels like they're reliving their old school life through me and everything else in between, what the fuck am I exploiting there? Please.
Exactly. This right here is 100% fact. If it was a reactor going through, doing an entire reaction video, just like, oh, I like this song, I like this, I like that, this is great. But at least if that person was having, conversations with people in the comments and, wanting to learn more about Tupac and wanting to understand his lyrics maybe, right? Or understand his poetry, or, what other kind of stuff was Tupac involved in? Because there was a lot. If they're also not doing any of that, all right, and there's zero interaction, then yeah, I'm gonna say it. Okay, you're exploiting Tupac's name. You're putting in zero effort, right? And you're trying to get all the glory for zero effort. That's not okay. And that person may not realize they're doing anything wrong. That's why, we should really approach that, not with hate, but with, just a suggestion, right? That's how I put it. Whenever I take grievance with the way someone does a video, and I understand everyone has the right to do it their own way. You do it the way you want. So the way I put it is I say, I'm loving the videos. I give them something positive first, so they know this isn't coming from a place of hate. I'm loving the videos, I'm loving the discussions, but just as a suggestion, right? You could maybe, add a little bit more commentary to this thing or that thing, or this important part happened and you didn't give any commentary on that. I think that's okay, but it should be constructive criticism. Okay? Just because someone doesn't do a video the way you think it should be doesn't mean it's trash. And it certainly doesn't give you the right to go and try and ruin that person's day and just start like hating on them for no reason. The internet is just not made for children. All right? And it's also not made for adults who still act like they're children. Okay?
Please inform us. I'm waiting. What am I explaining, dickhead? Oh, it's going to get better. Let me tell you how it ends with such a fucking great one. This is my favourite. Where I mentioned about a Jerry curl. Yeah, this is how fucking petty this one got. I mentioned about a Jerry curl. And he said, you don't know the culture, but you know what a Jerry curl is. I'm not even joking. That is the funniest fucking thing I've ever read in my whole entire life. But let me tell you where it now gets super petty. Suddenly, I thought, you know what, fuck you. And I wrote all this out, and I just thought, no, I'm not even going to do this. I think I learned better. But then I noticed a little tag on my video to say that it's been blocked in certain countries. And then I go into my emails and I find out that my video has been reported. Funny enough, there was like 10 to 11 reports done at once. I've gone back into the comments section. There's all these fucking made up accounts with dot in the comments section. So I can only guess that you have to write a comment before you can start putting reports in. You can't just open up an account and start doing that. Something weird's happened there. So I thought, you know what? I could go mad. I've got to now contact YouTube and I've got to try and report this. And obviously it's going to get turned over because they're going to see this and they're going to understand that. But then I thought, how do I make this a positive? So this is where I'm going to flip this shit, Brainiacs. Because there's a music video. And the music video I found out from the comments. And I've never seen the music video. I didn't even know a music video existed. And you said that there's new verses on here. And also, I didn't get the opportunity to express the fact that this video is supporting someone called Salvatore. And he was talking about in the live that this song reminds him of his mate who passed. So just so you know, hater, how I'm turning this into a positive is that I'm going to re-upload this, but now it's going to have the video that everybody wanted, a video that I've never seen before. To be very clear, a video I've never seen before, okay? And that is going to be truth. Or do you know that I watched it? Do you know that I watched it? Maybe as a kid I watched it, did my mum put it on? Was you there in the background, is it? Fucking idiot. So
This guy's too much, y'all. He is literally way too much. At the end of the day, the beautiful thing about reaction videos is everyone gets to, get out of it what they want, right? If they don't get out of it what they want, they can go and search and look for other channels. Right? This channel's talking about things that are important to me, so I like this channel. This channel over here isn't, so I'm going to pass on those videos. I'm going to watch something else, right? So we all get to at least have a chance, to learn, to grow, to learn from other people. That's why I like it. I like to learn about human behavior, right? And I think reaction videos, like, since I started watching them, I have learned so much about a lot of different people. Okay. Human beings are very complex, right? You could have two people with the same exact backgrounds, but they could behave, think, everything completely different. And to take that even a step further, you would have a lot of trouble finding two people who think the same, who eat the same foods, who listen to all the same music, who, watch the same movies, to where they're just identical, right? In every single aspect of their life. You would have a really hard time finding that. Now, sure, you could find similar people where, like, maybe most of the things they enjoy are similar, right? You could definitely do that. But to find two people that are 100% a mirror image of each other, you would have a hard time finding that. Okay? Unless maybe you're twins. I could see that. But I'm saying like without, them being inherently connected, right? So I think you have to listen to everybody. There is a phrase that I really want to debunk, okay? And it is a phrase that just bothers me a lot, right? That is cave dwellers. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not, but basically, white people are cave dwellers. We are blind to the world, and that's the way we want it. Like, we don't want to learn anything. We don't want to experience, what it's like for other people and other cultures. We just care about ourselves. So that's a cave dweller, right? And I could see that for some people. But then again, you can't throw entire groups of people all in the same box and say you are all the same. That is the same mentality that a lot of people fight against, and it's called racism. It's exactly what it is. There's another phrase, racism made me racist. And I think that can be unlearned. Same with a lot of people who are racist. It can be unlearned. But if no one ever takes the time to actually try and break down some of those barriers and get them to understand, like, you were taught a lie when you were growing up, right? Let's start actually explaining things to them and stop throwing out so many daggone labels. And it makes it almost impossible to have a conversation with somebody. Just so y'all know, the quickest way to end a conversation is to start with the accusations, the labeling, the gaslighting, all this other stuff. That's how you end conversations. If you really want to have a civil conversation, then you need to, like, get to know the person a little bit, right? You can't just hear something and then just start assuming the worst. That conversation's never going to be civil. You're never going to make any real progress with a conversation like that. Okay?
Going to be doing that, and also I get the chance to say that this one's a shout out to Salvador. And I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but you know who he is, and he told me about his brother that passed in, and they used to listen to this song in the car, I think that it was. So from your hate, what I've been able to do is spin this right round into a positive. Okay, now what have you got? I literally just Eminem 8 Miled your bitch ass. So tell me now what you've got. Explain to me what you've got. I'll let the comment section do the rest. Come back on here and write your comment, mate. I don't give a shit. I'm going to continually do this. I'm not going to have someone go out their way to try and act like gotcha because I know people like Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and what a Jerry Cole is. Are you mad? Are you mad?
Yeah, so when he said, I'm going to let the comment section handle this, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to take it a step further. I'm actually going to make a video about this, and I'm going to freaking talk about it. Look, if you think someone is making incorrect statements, is ignorant to the facts, is, all these other things, that's not a just cause for you to go and unload a bunch of hate towards them, right? How about have a conversation with them, give them your feedback. I think you're wrong about this, and here's why. I think you're wrong about that, and here's why. And a lot of times that's going to be met with, some really harsh, language or whatever else, because a lot of people don't like to be told that they're wrong, right? Or to be told, you don't know enough about this. But for me, I'm an optimist. I always like to look for people who are willing to have conversations, even if it makes them uncomfortable. Okay? That's the way I am. Like, I really do not care. Okay? If I come across the video and they're saying a bunch of stuff I don't agree with, sometimes I will put in the comments and I'll say, hey, I disagree based on this. I disagree based on that. I might ask them some questions. What about this? What about that? And that's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of, hey, let's have a discussion about this. This might be an interesting, topic right here. It's as simple as that. There's enough hate in the world. You really shouldn't be hating people just because you have a disagreement.
So this is where I'm calling out. Now, Brainiacs, I know what you're going to do. You're going to write in the comment section about this, that, and the other. I want you to chill as well, okay? Don't worry about it. But I needed to tell because obviously you can see the video. Obviously, I didn't want it blocked in certain areas. These were massive areas as well. So I thought, no, I'm going to play you at your own game, mate. This has worked in my positive favour. This is love on this channel. This is the #1.
Right there. This is one of the main reasons why I like Brain Squeeze, okay? That's one of his phrases right there, right? There's enough hate in the world, and another thing he says is the comment section is for love, not hate. That's along the lines of something else that he says.
Reaction channel to Tupac, and funny how the one that gets pulled up is the one that I copied and pasted off somebody else who done a reaction to it. Funny that, isn't it? None of the others that I've done has had this much torrent of abuse, and this person went full scripture with his word gotcha. Got you on a Jericho. Get fucked. Okay, so
I just love this guy right here. Like his overall personality and energy is too much, right? It's way too much. And I love it. So, look, I think at the end of the day, when it comes to culture, when it comes to heritage, when it comes to all these other things, we just gotta stop gatekeeping each other, right? If we are constantly like dictating who's allowed to listen to this, who's allowed to talk about that, you're opening up more and more blind spots. And the more you keep pushing that narrative, the more you're going to make people who would otherwise love to learn more about that culture, they could turn away from it and say, "Oh, that culture's just hateful." They don't want or appreciate my point of view. And I just think that's wrong. We shouldn't be pushing people away just because they don't know enough. Like, that's the perfect person to bring in and say, "Hey, you got a lot to learn," right? There's nothing wrong with that. And I think maybe by pushing out other people, right, out of certain cultures, I think maybe that's could be what is perpetuating a lot of the racism, right? Because they've been pushed away and so they're like kept in the dark. So now they don't have a clue. And here's the thing about this. Here's what is really interesting to me. A lot of people, just outright bash hip hop. They bash all of it. I'm sure you guys know on what grounds. People from all over the place can pick up hip hop and they can listen to it. And they can really get a sense of what it was like during that time period and in what different areas, right? So it has done a lot of good, right? And if it wasn't for music like what Tupac brought us and everyone else at NWA and all these other things, I wouldn't know really anything about hardly any of this stuff, right? But it is there as a way to pull people in and get them interested. And then you can get them to learn, new ideas and new perspectives, right? That's what it's all about.
to be clear, of course I know who Tupac is. I've heard loads of Tupac songs, but I've never addressed the culture, environment. I've never listened to tracks. There's for the words I mean. I've never had to dig into this and learn from a culture perspective.
So here's one thing that makes my channel a lot different than Brain Squeeze. Okay, so Brain Squeeze like pretty much despises like 99% of reaction channels that actually go through the lyrics, okay? And I do that. Definitely not on every track, but if there's a lot of substance to a track, right? And I think there's an important message behind it, that yeah, I'm definitely going to go through the lyrics, okay? And one of the things that he said at one point in time was you should use your ears and listen, right? But everyone's different. Not everyone can hear lyrics like he can, right? So some people need help so that they could understand what's actually in those lyrics, right? So that's where I'm at on that. Okay. But I would say, like, everyone's different. Okay. Some people need to have the lyrics. I think if you can process, the song and then the video and then, the lyrics all at the same time, then yeah, you don't need the lyrics. Just listen to the song better, right? But if there's an actual block, which is what I have something where like all of it just kind of blends together. Okay, so yeah, it's really difficult for me.
Never engaged with individuals about this. Of course I've heard fucking Tupac. What is wrong with you? But there's a difference to 20 years ago me and now me. Okay? But there's equally 650 Tupac songs that I've never heard. Ooh, Hector. That's a 7-8 minute introduction. Anyways, so let's jump into this video, shall we?
So we're gonna leave it there. I just wanted to go over this amazing introduction. Okay, and furthermore, one thing I will say also, going and watching his reactions to Pink Floyd, for some reason, the songs are actually even more impactful, right? Just to see someone's first reaction to it and see how like excited they get into it, like it's contagious, right? And you're just kind of feeling the music a lot more. Like I've always like really felt the music, but like when you're watching someone like Brain Squeeze, like going crazy over a song, you're like, yeah, no, this was crazy, right? So yeah, this guy's really entertaining. I love his videos. You know, I'll just say I disagree. I don't think I'm a pansy, okay, for using the lyrics. I just think sometimes, you need help understanding what's in the song, right? Another thing, too, he focuses more on the music, right? He doesn't do so much with the lyrics. Like, he wants to, like, get his own interpretation based on the song itself, not based on what message the artist wanted to get across. And that's totally fine. Like I said, everyone has the right to do their channel however they want. Because my channel is focused on the artist's interpretation, what message the artist wants to get across. Because my channel's focused, pretty much solely on that. It's really important for me to get the most accurate lyrics possible. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and I'm getting ready to watch this reaction to I Ain't Mad At Ya. Alright. You know what, I left a comment on there and I said, I'm really upset. And I said, why did YouTube allow me to go so long without telling me about your channel? Right? And he replied, and I thought that was so cool that he replied to that. And he said, it's fate, you're here now. And I'm like, hey, that's, absolutely. Right? So yeah, last thing I want to say, I think we got to stop gatekeeping culture. Okay? I just think we got to stop doing that. If you want to get people to appreciate your culture more, then like they should see a lot more about the good aspects of it instead of just watching on the news and hearing people hate on it and make it about a bunch of things that it's not. Okay, there's way too much of that going on. All right, and I'm sure some of you guys probably already know like what I'm referring to there. But I really don't want to make this video about that. But yeah, certain cultures, they just get a bad rap all the time. And it's mostly based on bogus stereotypes, bogus statistics that are, missing a lot of context, missing a lot of information. But then the statistics are framed in such a way that, again, makes it look like, It's this person's culture, right? Like, that's the problem. At the end of the day, I just think the gatekeeping has to stop, and people really should be more open to the idea of listening to people they don't agree with, right? If you can't do that, then I think you should at least understand that you're living in echo chambers. It's as simple as that. I definitely try my best to not live in echo chambers, and that's why sometimes I'll come across a video where they're saying a bunch of stuff I don't agree with, and I'll actually comment in there and I'll give my point of view. Maybe I'm the one that's wrong. Maybe it's time for me to learn from someone else, right? Or vice versa. Who knows? So, alright, that's it for now, y'all.